Man, we were dropping like flies, if you guys didn't know that. My father-in-law broke his leg the first day we got here, and Allie's dad got sick, and Danny got sick during the show, had to go to emergency room, so it's been a brutal show. Other than that, it's been an awesome show. So thank you all for coming. I want to thank a couple of people again real quickly. Mike and Isabella from Music Radio Creative, thank you guys for coming all the way from England and for all the stuff you did for us for the podcast report. If you guys ever need any music intros and stuff like that for your podcast, those are the people to go to. Jared Easley and Eric Fisher, thank you guys for all your help in the podcasting track and for the podcast report. Daniel J. Lewis, thanks for handling all the recordings for us. We really appreciate it. Chris Christensen and Paula Pant, thank you for filling in for speakers who got stuck because of the storm. Again, thank you to all of our speakers. We love you guys. You did a great job. Did they do a great job this year?
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you to our attendees. Thank you so much. I love this job. I can't explain it enough. You guys, I'm sure many of you have seen me cry. That's how much I love this. So thank you all for coming. Yeah, please. I know you don't care, but that's all right. A little housekeeping, and then I'll turn it over to Dave. Thank you again to our sponsors. Our platinum sponsor, Marshall Silver. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Right. Thank you for a special evening. Thank you to Dragon Search. Again, Rick, sorry, man. We will get some quality time soon. Thank you, .me, and the Academy of Web Television, Web TV Awards tomorrow night. We are super excited for that. Podcast Answer Man, Podcasting A to Z, Cliff Ravenscraft, thank you so much. Podcast One, Norm Pattis did a great job this morning. I thought that was awesome. U.S. Army, thank you for your support. Thank you for your service. And WordPress, thank you again, you guys. And please, thanks to all of our sponsors, all of our exhibitors. Let's give them a big round.
And the live stream. The live stream is brought to you by Justin TV, our new streaming partner. New Tech, they provide the great TriCasters for multi-camera switching. Thank you so much. And then TechZulu for providing live coverage. And Efren from TechZulu is awesome. Thank you so much, Efren.
Thank you, Efren.
Yeah. So, you got any more?
That's it.
All right. We've got a great talk show for you guys tonight to end New Media Expo.
A talk show?
Yeah, talk show.
All right.
Yeah.
We've tried that a few times.
Yeah, we've tried it. We haven't gotten it right yet. We're going to get it right this time.
All right. We're going to keep doing it until we get it right.
Yeah, that's exactly. And the host tonight is going to be Greg Benson of Mediocre Films, and he's one of the most popular comedians on YouTube. You guys want a lot of subscribers on your channels.
He won't friend me on Facebook.
He won't friend you on Facebook?
No.
Oh, man.
I thought him to come to my house.
You guys want a lot of subscribers on your channels. Greg has over 1 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. He's at over 350 million video views, and he's scored viral hits with his sketches and pranks and web series. And he works directly with big advertisers like MTV, Microsoft, Sony, Gillette, and Pizza Hut, creating branded viral videos for them. But if you're not familiar with Greg's videos yet, then take a look at this.
Money here goes to a good cause. It goes to feed the hungry. My wife and I get hungry a couple times a day, and we like to go out to nice restaurants and stuff. You don't know of any white-collar jobs, do you?
I haven't seen blackface that good since Jolson.
Let me ask you this. Who's your favorite waiter at the Olive Garden?
Tanya.
Yeah, Tanya's great, isn't she?
Kiko, where are you from, Kiko?
You're not very good at this.
I asked Greg, how should I introduce you tonight? And I never know if he's kidding or not. And he said, try to do it in a big TV show announcer voice. And I'm just stupid enough to try. So live from New Media Expo 2014, it's the closing keynote talk show with your host, Greg Benson. Yeah.
As long as I'm singing, I'm not going to sing for you guys. That's just a joke. But wouldn't it be funny if it just was a musical thing and that's all it was? I come out and sing a few songs. How's everybody doing? All right. By round of applause, how many people here like to applaud things? All right. Good. Me too. Me too. I'm going to be doing it throughout the evening. I hope you guys have had a good show. I've had a good time out here. The main reason that they brought me here is because I have this little channel called Mediocre Films. All I do is I go out on the street, I prank people, I interview people, I just have fun with people, and somehow I have managed to turn this into a business. And one of the questions that I get most often is, so you make YouTube videos, how do you make money from that? And whether you are podcasting or you're blogging or whatever, people in new media want to know how they can make a business out of new media. So basically, that's what we're going to do here today. We're going to talk about how to turn your passion into a profession. I'll start off by telling you a little bit about what I do, what I've done, and how it's turned into a business for me. And then I'm going to introduce three guests. All of us we work in new media in various aspects of it, mostly in video, as you'll see. But we've all managed to make a business out of what we do in slightly different ways. So hopefully today this will give you a clearer idea of how we've done it. Oh, by the way, welcome, Atlantic City. Let's hear it for Atlantic City. That is, I think this is, the Evey guy, Mike, said to me, so what do you want behind you? I go, whatever. You just put up something for Vegas, Atlantic City, whatever you want. And he did. So thank you, Mike, for that. Hopefully we'll see some other good random images while we're doing this. I'm curious if, I never know how many people are involved in blogging and podcasting. So just by a round of applause, how many bloggers do we have here today? Okay, great. How many podcasters? Great. And now, how many people make video for new media? Oh, good. All right. All right, so there's a nice assortment. I'm sure that some of you do some of several things. Just a little bit about what I do. I started off in Los Angeles as a professional actor. I moved out in the early 90s. I started to work in industrial training videos at first, then commercials and film and TV. But I really found most of my luck in the commercial world. It was great. Made a great living at it for years, but I got a little tired of not having any control over the work that I was putting out there. So I decided to teach myself how to shoot, how to write, how to direct, how to edit. I started off in the 90s editing on 3/4-inch tape at a public access TV studio. And then in the 2000s, when computers came out, we could finally do nonlinear editing. That was a huge relief for me, and I'm sure a lot of you, and I learned how to do it. Started to put my stuff up on my own website, which quickly ran out of bandwidth as the videos started to make their way around virally. And my wife said to me, who's a very smart woman, by the way, she said, why don't you put your videos up on MySpace? Did any of you ever watch videos in the early days of MySpace? Yeah, so in the early days, that was the place to be before YouTube launched. So put videos up there, then YouTube started to get popular. I moved stuff over to YouTube, and before you know it, one of my first videos on YouTube was featured on the main page back when being featured on the main page at YouTube really meant something because it would stay up for about a week. There's a video called Greg Hits Hollywood. You just saw a short clip of it where I'm hitting people in the face with a microphone, which I still do because it's fun and it's easy to shoot. But that got me my first 1 million views and my first few thousand subscribers. And from there, it just continued to build. Different series I would introduce got popular with different groups. And I was doing mostly sketches, but then I started to do more man-on-the-street stuff. And before you knew it, before I even guessed that it would happen, some advertisers started to approach me. That's the lucky way of doing it. When brands reach out to me and they want to do a product placement in a video, they want to do a branded video, that's honestly a very, very lucky way to go about it. You achieve the popularity first, and then you get opportunities to monetize. So we're going to talk about several different ways. Not everybody has the freedom to do that, and are lucky enough to have the popularity before being able to monetize. I understand a lot of you want to find advertisers, you want to find different ways that you might be able to monetize or to crowdsource now as you're starting off. I'm at the point now where I'm very, very lucky to have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Those are people who, well, theoretically, are waiting for me to upload my next video and would, in theory, watch it. It's a fraction of those people actually do watch the video, unless they go viral. I'm going to show one more quick clip of something that I did because I think you might find this interesting. I did a video last month that went viral called Cell Phone Crashing at the Airport. It's a video that I shot with my wife. My wife operated camera for me. We were flying off to Texas to visit my grandmother who was turning 100, and I said, let's go to the airport an hour early and shoot a video. I had this idea, something I've done called cell phone crashing, but I've never done it at an airport. Let's go shoot it. And we literally shot this in 45 minutes at a budget of $0, and it got over 8 million views. Let's take a look at this under-minute clip. Yeah.
Told me where it was now and out there, and they're like, it looked really nice too.
It did? Good. I was hoping it would look good.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get the free food and whatnot.
Yeah, it's great to get the free food.
Are you answering what I'm saying?
No, I'm on the phone with somebody. Sorry.
How late is your flight delayed?
It's like 20 minutes late, I think. I think it's probably going to be about 20 minutes.
Is that your sister with you?
No, I don't have a sister.
You like answering the same question?
I'm sorry?
I feel like you're answering my question.
No, I'm talking to somebody.
Hey, you want to go out later?
Yeah, definitely. Like as soon as I land, let's go out.
I'll meet you about 6 o'clock at the house.
Okay, fine. 6 at the house is great.
Well, I'll talk to you later then.
Okay, perfect. Talk to you later. Great.
Okay.
Okay.
Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Wow. Thanks, guys. That was really exciting for me. I make videos for the web, but I'm mostly just at home sitting in front of my computer. I never hear people laugh at them. So that was awesome. Thank you. Thanks. That makes me very happy. So for me, the secret for me is I do things that make me laugh. I do the things that I think are funny, and hopefully people will come along for the ride. Some videos I put up that I think are hilarious fail dramatically, and others, go crazy, like that one. It's been a fun ride, but I want to go ahead and bring on our first guest of 3 so that we can talk about his ride. First, let me tell you a little bit about this guy. I'm going to introduce a guy who is, he calls himself a storyteller. He's also a director and exec producer. You may know his series, very well known for the series The Lizzie Bennett Diaries on YouTube. And if you don't know, we're going to show you a clip of that in just a second. His current project is sort of an offshoot, another series which is a modern version of a Jane Austen story, just like the Lizzie Bennett Diaries was. His new show is called Emma Approved. But first, about Lizzie Bennett Diaries, what's interesting about this, it's something that I've never done before, and that is to do a multi-platform show that uses all social media, all that it can, in this nice bundle. This was a pretty successful thing for him if you consider success winning an Emmy. The guy won an Emmy for multi-platform series for this, and how he did the series is really fascinating. And let's go ahead and roll the clip, you guys, for Lizzie Bennett Diaries.
The Lizzie Bennett Diaries is a modern adaptation of Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, told through YouTube and dozens of different social network sites. But unlike every other show with a Twitter account, the Lizzie Bennett Diaries uses social media to create a vast, connected world with characters that engage the audience on an almost daily basis. Lizzie is a 24-year-old grad student with a mountain of student loans and a mother who only cares about one thing, marrying her off, along with her sisters, Jane, the sweet one, and Lydia, the wild one. Lizzie keeps a vlog with the help of her best friend, Charlotte.
Seriously?
And then the other characters from Pride and Prejudice begin showing up. Mr. Bingley is now a handsome young medical student, and his friend, the insufferable Mr. Darcy.
Darcy, bot malfunction.
Darcy? Genuine?
Darcy didn't appear on camera for the first 60 episodes, but when he finally did, the audience went bananas.
Well, this should be good.
You're filming.
If you've got something to say to me, you say it here and now.
Lydia starts her own vlog with her cousin Mary and her cat, Kitty. A handsome swimmer named Wickham comes to town and is nothing but trouble. Lizzie follows a school assignment to a company called Pemberley Digital, which just happens to be owned by Darcy, where Darcy's sister Gigi and his friend Fitz keep throwing them together. And their feelings start to change. But then Wickham has a sex tape of Lydia, and Darcy and Gigi save the day, and, well, you know how it ends. Altogether, the Lizzie Bennett Diaries filmed over 150 video episodes across 5 different YouTube channels with over 9.5 hours of video. And the story spread across 35 social media sites that conveyed vital story content and major plot points and created a bond between the characters and the audience that made the Lizzie Bennett Diaries one of the most popular multi-platform shows of all time, amassing over 40 million views on YouTube. The show won awards for interactive excellence and knocked Colin Firth off as the internet's most popular Darcy, and created a record-breaking Kickstarter campaign, and most importantly, assembled an army of fans who are now clamoring for more interactive multi-platform content.
Lizzie Bennett, I'm in love with you.
Put your hands together for Bernie Sue. Bernie,
What's happening?
come on. I love the music. Oh,
Thanks.
and look what you get. Yeah.
Well, I always say you got to back the money truck up. I hope that's full of money.
That is a nice dump truck. Actually, I prefer a more colorful dump truck. Mike, you got a more colorful one than that?
Really?
Oh, good. That's perfect.
Oh, he
Thank
does.
you.
Wow.
Thanks, Mike. So this is quite a success story, Bernie.
If you say so, yeah.
No, it's terrific. Let's start at the beginning, because I think it may be helpful for people to hear how you started, where you came from, and what brought you into new media.
Well, so I was trained as a storyteller, as a writer, like a screenwriter, and so when I moved to LA to chase my dreams, I was going for a television writer, and right around that time where MySpace was falling, YouTube was coming up, realized that the entertainment industry was going to shift eventually. I don't know when it was, but web video was going to be in play. And so I started to develop stories, or kind of try to craft my stories to not just television, but to all platforms, because that's where everything was going. At the time, too, I'm from Silicon Valley, so I did work at some startups, and so I have a bit of a tech background. Mm-hmm. So kind of being aware of, the television is not the primary entertainment device, especially today. It's right now it's all scattered, but seeing it evolve into computers and then now tablets and mobile and all that stuff, just kind of going with that trend as a storyteller was just so I could keep more versatile.
And I know that you're also a visual storyteller. You have a background in photography. We'd see you around with a camera at a lot of events.
I dabble.
You dabble.
I dabble.
Okay, so let us know. I noticed. First of all, Hank Green's name in the credits of Lizzie Bennett Diaries. Mm-hmm. If you don't know Hank Green, he's one of the Vlog brothers on YouTube, a very popular couple of brothers. How did you hook up with Hank and create this series?
I met him randomly at a party. Really,
that's pretty great.
Someone was drunker than others, but we had a discussion, and he came to me. I knew who he was, and when I told him what I did as a screenwriter who was in web video, he asked me if it was possible to do tell a book on YouTube. Is really what it was. How do you tell a novel on YouTube? We've seen novels retold into films, television, comic books, video games. Can it be done on YouTube? Why not? Well, theoretically, it hasn't been, and so from then we talked about which book to do. He suggested Pride and Prejudice, and I was like, okay, that's good. Both agreed that it would kind of target an untapped audience online, kind of a rather ignored one, and it's a very popular book. So we knuckled down and developed for months on end, and then assembled a great team together, and then kind of ran it like a show.
And how did you come up with the idea of really making this a multi-platform experience?
To be fair, I think we evolved from there. At first, we were just about the videos. We were just about Lizzie, the character, vlogging to a camera and kind of reciting the story as a narrator in a sense. But when you research, you look at vloggers like yourself, a YouTuber or so. It's their presence is not just YouTube. You're everywhere. You're on Twitter. You're on Facebook. You're whatever other social network platforms that you use. You, Greg. Hank uses Tumblr a lot, and so from there it felt very organic to expand the story to those things. And while again adapting to new media storytelling or multi-platform, as a student really of that format, still an evolving format. I would argue. I was just very kind of open-minded to like, can we use this site? Can we use this social platform? Does this give us anything? Does this give us anything? I mean, we have 35 social media profiles across the internet on that single show, and it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot.
So you have the idea to do this show, and you know, as a lot of people may begin, it's certainly how I began. I began with no budgets, no crews, and then I found monetization later. Did you have monetization right from the beginning, or how did it work for you?
Well, monetization, YouTube, as most of us should be aware, that there's a partner program. The partner program, an ad gets shown, YouTube gets a 40% cut or whatever it is now, and we get the rest, right? So instantaneously, with the views coming in, we can monetize those views. We have merch, we didn't quite get there yet, but like in the beginning, we had views, and was that enough to sustain the show? Not really. You have to kind of activate other monetization avenues as we go along.
Was it a costly show? Did you have a full crew, or how did that work?
We had as much crew as we needed. The show is shot with one camera on a fixed tripod in locked locations, but we use everything else. We have a production designer, and we compensate her. We have a cinematographer or a DP, we compensate him. We have PAs, producers, ADs, just like kind of the bare bones of what you would need on a film production. But because the camera doesn't go anywhere, there's not a need for all these guys moving lights, for example, if you were on a film set.
Right, so it's a little simpler.
It's simpler.
And I would guess you would shoot multiple episodes in one day.
Yes, we would shoot upwards of at least 8, and sometimes we get to 10.
Oh, that's amazing. I've shot up to 3 episodes of a show in a day, but I've never created something that's simple enough to shoot 8 to 10 episodes in a day, and that works for you, obviously, when it comes to monetization.
It does, because it's cost effective, and it's grueling. It's really hard. Those of you who know film production, our numbers are like our scripts are single spaced, feature film style. So they're not, double-spaced sitcom. Single-spaced, and we shoot anywhere between 45 to 55 pages in a single production day.
That's a lot of pages, for those of you who may not know that. That's a lot of pages.
It's a lot of pages. We rehearse and everything, so like we come in and we're not like trying to figure out the scene or anything like that. We know what we're doing. We know what we're shooting. We go in, knock it out.
Okay. Now, you mentioned the YouTube Partner Program. Out of curiosity, how many people, by applause, do have some videos that take advantage of the YouTube Partner Program? Okay. YouTube attaches ads to the videos, and they split the revenue with creators like us. And the more views you make, obviously, then the more money you make. That's how that works. So you have a slide that you brought along which shows us about the different avenues that the show takes. And
yes, here it is. Look at that. So it's important to kind of look at this. People talk about web video. They talk about, a lot of times they're thinking about making films.
Yeah.
And a film, like you and I, Greg, if we shot a feature film today, over the next week, we would have 0 monetization avenues until we sold it.
I just want to clarify, I'm not ready to shoot a feature film with you next week.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not prepared for that.
Offer only. Anyway, but
he'll do it, Bernie, if you want to do one with him.
Talk afterward. So Lizzie Bennett Diaries, by design, we kind of got to this point where we have 5 revenue streams, 5,
Okay.
and here they are on the slide. YouTube AdSense, you can see the top one. Merchandising, you can see kind of the bottom there, posters, teacups, journals. Affiliate marketing integration, that's like we refer to a product somewhere, that's like on Amazon, you make a sale, we get a cut. DVDs, as you saw in the video, we did a Kickstarter campaign for DVDs. We talk about more in a second. And we have a novelization coming out later this year that's published by Touchstone Publishing.
That'll be amazing, to be able to read Pride and Prejudice as a novel.
I know, right? It'll be a novel based on the web series, based on the novel. I mean, whoa.
That's amazing. Maybe someone can take that novelization and make a web series out of it.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The cycle continues. But like, one of the fascinating thing about the Kickstarter, because I get asked about that thing a lot, even though, at the time when we finished, we were the number 7th video Kickstarter, and this is including Veronica Mars, had already finished, 6th or 7th all time. And then now, I don't know where we are, but we were like number 2 in web series to to a video game high school at the time. And it's like, well, I think you have to look at it as what we were going for. The show was done. We just wanted to know if it was worth it to make a DVD. The show is available for free online today, and probably, pending the collapse of YouTube, in perpetuity. But we were able to raise this much, $462,000, and pre-sell 6,000 DVDs at a $55 clip. This is a box set, and it's 9.5 hours of video. It's not one disc, you know. And to me, like, that's staggering. Like, that happened, and you can't like predict it. You can't just like say that this is the way the world works. I mean, our audience, we were talking backstage. Our audience is 25 and under female. Are they buying DVDs? Apparently.
Apparently they are. Well, let's talk Kickstarter tips. And by the way, just so you guys know, at the end of this session, after I bring out all three guests, we're going to have a Q&A for the last, say, 15 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, we'll get to them. So let's talk Kickstarter tips, because you sold an awful lot. You pre-sold an awful lot of DVDs.
Sure.
I'm guessing there's an incredible amount of bonus content.
Yes. Well, I think people, like, you know, when you look at a Kickstarter, I don't know, maybe those of you who are part of crowdfunding companies, you know, you analyze what was the most bought perk, right? And people usually say it's the $10 to $30 perk that's a sweet spot. Like, that's what people come in for. Our top perk was the $55 perk, and that was to get the DVD.
And that's your top.
That was like 4,000 donors. They was like, we're here to buy a DVD. You know, we're here to support the show, sure, but we're here to buy a DVD. 4,000 in, right there. So you look at that and you go like, we made compelling enough content for the audience to go, it's out there for free. I can go to YouTube and click play on a playlist and sit back for 6.5 hours and watch the show. But I want to own the show on a soon-to-be archaic disc and support the show this way. Now, if you times 55 times 6,000, I mean 60, that's not quite that number there. Our perks were really good. I believed every one of our bonus perks had great value to them. Like our $20 perk was, I believe, 4 posters and a button set. 4 posters. You go on that website, each poster is $10. So we're actually giving you a deal if you buy 4 posters in this donated perk. So that's why I think it really, you know, a lot of this is inflated because we had great perks, thus inflating our costs to fulfill. But hey.
All right, so I know some brands came along and were interested in the show.
Yes.
At a certain point, and that would be your integration of affiliate marketing.
Yes. Yeah.
So talk about how that happened and how you were able to further that.
Well, actually, you know, Lizzie Bennett, which was kind of like, you know, a testament to, well, kind of not a testament, like a representation of the ad industry today. You know, we're talking about a show that penetrated the popular culture, and it ran for a year, and it never had a single bot integration. You know. And this is something that's legacy. This is something that, you know, that the audience under 25 looks at and says, this is their generation's Pride and Prejudice. Yet, no advertiser was quick enough to come into the show, you know, like, and be that legacy brand that's part of that show. For Emma, we changed this, right? Yep. For the Emma adaptation, we actually added a couple monetization levels to this, and we got our first product integration, and that was Samsung.
You said your first product integration.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Samsung.
Which you're wearing, by the way.
Which I'm wearing because I need to figure out how to use this thing because they want me to use it in the show. With the watch, this if you're wondering.
This is a watch that also shoots video and takes pictures.
Yes, exactly. But you know, at the same time too, you know, going back to integration, which I feel like you're going for, it's like what the beauty of what we do, because it's web, we can track everything so well. You know, everything so well. It can be tracked to such a detail, which I think it's a good time to show the other slide.
Let's do it.
Show me the other slide.
The next slide, Mike, is about, there we go.
Oh, I don't know if you can see that. Can you zoom in? Can you go bigger? Whatever, I'll talk about it. All right, so what this is Emma approved, is a kind of an example of when we use clothes on Emma. Now, we have the stats for the watch and our Samsung campaign, but that campaign just ended. We don't have the metrics completely analyzed in a case study yet. But this is for ModCloth and Nordstrom. So what we do here is the girls you can see in the first picture there are wearing items, and we link to them passively. The characters never actually say what they're wearing. And they never say, if you want to know what we're wearing, you have to click on this link. The links are passive. They're in the description below. just 2 links. We, of course, track these 2 links, and we can send them, we see what they're going towards, and you go to these 2 items.
So, and is the reason for doing this because you don't want your viewers to feel like they're being sold to?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. There's no mention of any product. Even the Samsung integration, we actually never say the name of the product or the brand in the show.
How does Samsung feel about that?
It's what they wanted. They just wanted to show a logo.
This is an ideal situation for an advertiser. I've had situations similar to this. I've also had situations where the advertiser wanted the brand this many seconds within the first 30 seconds. You have to say these 2 lines about it. You have to say the name of the product twice. You know, and those videos, I should say, have failed. Those are a couple examples that have failed, but this is working for you.
Well, it worked really well for us. Granted, like, you know, you see at the bottom right there, that's Emma's blog. You know, we are, you know, formerly Blog World. Emma has a blog, an in-character blog, which does call out all the brands that she's wearing, but that's because she's a fashion blogger. It is actually accurate to the character to call the brands out. And some of those brands, we don't get money for. We just like, we got this clothes, it looks great on her, it's part of the story, call it out. You know, some of them we do, like these. You know, in November, I believe, for ModCloth, we were like the top 10 affiliate in the world for them. You know, as an affiliate brand on a web series that never actually says ModCloth. I mean,
excellent. I love how you were able to get some monetization in place before you even began to roll out the series.
This was something that was designed because in multi-platform, you know, those of you who are in the kind of the multi-platform space as storytellers, I mean, those of you bloggers who know this, have known this for years, but you try to monetize everything. People always ask like, oh, that Twitter thing, you putting all this content out there, does that monetize? And you kind of go, well, no, it's not for monetizing, it's for marketing. Well, I kind of go, well, if you're expanding story to all these things, if we're having characters on Twitter, if we're having characters do this on Pinterest, there should be a way to monetize these things because it all is value. There's all value there. And maybe the infrastructure exists, maybe it doesn't. The infrastructure of monetizing YouTube exists. Does the infrastructure for those others exist? We don't know. But I can say the Samsung integration proved that this is possible because they actually specifically asked for social integration.
Terrific. Now, for a lot of the people who are out here who may not be making videos, they're podcasting, they're blogging, how could we tie this in for them so that we could help them monetize their own content?
Well, it's all the expansion of finding where the monetization is. You know, if it's not a premium podcast and you're not charging for it, there should be other ways that you can discover ways to monetize. I mean, simple things which is, you know, looking at recommending books. Very simple thing, which is something we did.
All right, so it's time to bring out our next guest. As you can see, Kim Evey, a producer of Year of the Monkey Productions. She is not only beautiful, she is extraordinarily talented. She is the producer of a web series you may have heard of, which is called The Guild. Yeah, absolutely. The Guild ran for 6 seasons. And was monetized. Well, she'll tell you all about working with Microsoft and YouTube directly on the Guild. And she also co-created the channel Geek and Sundry with her producing partner Felicia Day. And one of the shows that she did just last year for Geek and Sundry was a show that she spearheaded, a very, very funny show called Written by a Kid. And we have a short reel to show to give you a little idea of Written by a Kid.
Are you guys ready?
Yes, we are. I'm ready to go.
This evil scientist building robots. There was a gingerbread man a long time ago in a refrigerator. The first Valentine's Day that I don't believe. It's called Fire City.
Let's hear it for Kim Evey. Hello. Please. It's like you're on a talk show in the 70s.
I know. It's so exciting.
Oh, and look, you have delicious fresh fruit.
Oh, good. Good.
That's to welcome you. I wanted you to feel healthy.
Thank you. I do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do.
Kim, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to see you.
It's really nice to see you, too.
It's nice to see all of you. Now, I understand that you...
I don't know what that means.
That's a line from Married to the Mob. I don't know why that just came into my brain. Married to the Mob, a movie from the late 80s. So I understand that you are married to another producer, another video producer in the industry?
Yes.
And who is that?
You.
That's me. Okay. All right. I thought you were familiar. This is how we got Kim on the show. So
pull some favors.
Yeah.
It's all who you know.
Yeah.
So Kim, tell us a little bit about how you got started in the world of new media.
I want Bernie to talk more. I was so interested backstage. I was like, oh, I got to go on? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, he's good.
Yeah, he's really
But you're
good.
good too. That's why you're here.
So I also started in Los Angeles as an actress, and then I had done lots of improv before I moved to LA, and I continued to do improv. I learned how to do sketch comedy, and then strangely, my husband wanted to learn how to write and direct and edit. And so we started taking sketches that we had written for the stage and making them into sketches for the web. And excuse me, that led me to take one of the sketches that I had done. It was called Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Machine Show. And you'll never remember that. But it was a parody of a Japanese talk show, and I wore pigtails and a tutu, and I interviewed, it was a written sketch, but my crazy character would interview these very straight-laced people like archaeologists and paleontologists, and I would make them stand on their head or dump buckets of balls on top of them, things like that. And I begged you to make it into a web series. I did. I begged him. I said, please shoot my thing. Please, please do it.
I was worried that I couldn't do it justice, honestly. It was a really fantastic script, and it's actually one of the first times that I ever saw Kim perform in Los Angeles was when she was performing this character of Kiko in Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Machine Show.
Who was in your trailer, actually.
Yes, you have a little, yeah, it's the cheat in the hitting people. I always like to have, one plant in the videos. It's our secret. Don't tell anybody. But Kim was the plant in that video because you want to make sure the videos work.
Yeah.
But that's an amazing character that you had, and Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Machine Show became sort of an instant hit on YouTube.
Yeah, we put it up, and YouTube used to be, the front page was just thumbnails and descriptions and just a list of that. And I thought, if you have something called Gorgeous Tiny Chicken Machine Show, and the thumbnail is this big, but it's just these crazy, aqua and hot pink and a girl in a tutu, like, I'd click on that. What is that? So,
It was very smart. I mean, you created something that's very clickable before people were doing that. Now it's on YouTube, it's all about the bright colors and, showing boobs in the thumbnail. I mean, that works too,
that's
and,
true.
things like that. But you thought of, kind of making something clickable.
Yeah.
Which is great.
And I also did boobs in the thumbnail too.
Yes, on your next series.
Two hot girls in a shower. Another friend of mine and I, who we did sketch comedy together, and there's a backstory to it, but we ended up doing a short video of the two of us in a shower, and the dynamic was very Burns and Allen-y, but I said, let's put it on YouTube. Like, this is 2007. Like, let's just see if we like call something Two Hot Girls in a Shower. Let's see how many clicks we get. Got a lot.
Yeah. Millions of clicks on that show.
A lot, yeah. And strangely, some people would actually stick around, and stay for the comedy. And we ended up getting a core audience of maybe like 10,000 people who really liked the show for what it was.
Yeah.
So.
There's that. Then your next success, you co-created a show called Retarded Policemen.
Yes. It starred an actor named Josh Perry, who is an actor with Down syndrome, and it's a comedy, and he's great in it, and you can check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, he's really awesome.
And he is a professional actor, and he can't not have Down syndrome any more than I can't not be Korean, so we created a role for him.
And once again, it's a show with obviously a non-PC title, but it's a very clickable title, and the show delivered.
And the kids loved it.
The kids did love it. Tell us about the Guild. How did you get started with the Guild?
I met an actress named Felicia Day when I was teaching sketch comedy at Acme Comedy Theater, where Greg and I met. And she and I became friends, and she showed me a script that she had written. It was a half-hour TV pilot about online gamers. And this was in 2007, I believe. And so back then, even though 10 million people were playing World of Warcraft and EverQuest and things like that, it wasn't like it is now. It sort of hadn't blown up. And so she had shown her script around to people in the industry, and they were like, this is a great script, but we're not going to make it because it only appeals to a very small segment of the population. Well, her script was great, and she was a professional actress, and so I was already doing Gorgeous Tiny for Crackle.com, and I said, well, let's just do this, like, let's just do it, let's just make it, because it made a lot of sense to me that you know, something with a built-in fan base of 10 million people that didn't have anything like that yet, it would be a really good idea to make it for them, and it ended up being really successful. I knew that it would work, I didn't know how big it would get, but yeah, it was sort of the same instinct, like, oh, if something has a weird title and it's bright and you want to click on it, it's like, oh, if you're a gamer and you're given a really good show about the thing you love, you'll watch it.
And just to clarify, up to this point, even through the first season of The Guild, everything that I or Kim and I together had created and put out there was all created just for the love of creating, and then it found monetization besides the YouTube partner program, which actually the partner program didn't launch till May 2007. Well, I was one of the very early partners there, but it launched, I think in May 2007 is when that one launched. So the Guild started off, you were funding it yourself.
We funded the first 3 episodes ourselves, and this was before the days of Kickstarter, but we made our own Kickstarter. We put a PayPal button up on the website, and people started donating, and you know, Felicia tells the story at one point, somebody donated $100, and she actually emailed him back and said, did you type your decimal in the right place? Are you sure? And you know, every time, so we would amass, you know, maybe $2,000 or $3,000, and then we would be able to shoot for the weekend. And we, you know, we would pay a couple of key crew members, but not everybody was getting paid. Our actors were deferring their pay. Yeah, we were just doing it sort of for the love of it, and it was really exciting when we got a lot of response. And also the fact that we ended up having these sort of month-long hiatuses made the excitement as it was building, it sort of became a thing, and then people were really gunning for the next episode, and then they had funded it, so they were very invested, so it all worked out really well.
How did Microsoft come along?
They actually came to us. We were having meetings with a lot of people in Hollywood to see where we might take this, and it was right when Xbox first launched and they needed content, and they, a really brilliant guy named Scott Nokus, who is now with Vugaru, he was in charge over with the Xbox original programming, and he said, this show is great, it's about online gaming, we make video games, we're not going to tell you how to make your show, we're just going to read your scripts to make sure that, you know, they're appropriate for audiences, and then you just, here you go. It was amazing. It was definitely
And that was seasons 2 through 5 of the show?
Yep.
Then you had another season, a final season, which was funded directly by YouTube.
Yes, we, for season 6, we had created a, I guess, they call them the original channels now. They were calling them premium content, a YouTube channel called Geek and Sundry, which had a bunch of different shows on it, and so the Guild season 6 went on that channel.
Okay, so we're going to get to our next guest in just a minute, because I think I get so involved in these conversations we run out of time. But let us know, how do you go about finding brands to attach them to shows that are already in production?
Well, I mean, I will tell you what I did. It was very sneaky for season 5. I needed more money because season 5 involved us going to a convention, and we needed to shoot and make it really look like a convention. Felicia had a really great web following, so what I did was I said, can you tweet that we lost one of our brand partners and see if anybody wants to be a brand partner? We didn't have any brand partners. We didn't lose anybody. But I didn't want to go out and say, like, could brands come to us, please? So I just made it seem like, you know, we totally knew what we were doing, and actually that worked. So then we had a lot of people coming to us because, you know, it's about gaming, and so we ended up doing deals with Jones Soda, which was not, you know, had nothing to do with gaming, but they were just a really innovative company, and because the series was taking place at a convention, we could put in all of this product placement, and it made total sense. It was like, this party scene is brought to you by Jones, because that's how it would be if you really went to a convention. So, you know.
And soda companies seem, you can pretty much fit in a soda in any series. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Chad Vader, the series Chad Vader, which I'm a big fan of, but if you watch one particular season of theirs, there's Jarritos soda in almost every episode. It's in big stacks, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, so
I was just going to say, we also did trades, you know, we did, Torrid is a women's fashion wear, you know, company, and they gave us clothing for Robin Thorson, one of our actresses, and, you know, So we didn't have to pay for it. So, you know, they didn't give us money, but they gave us her wardrobe. So.
All right. Well, we didn't have any time to, unfortunately, to go over Written by a Kid, but at least we saw the clip of that. I love that show, and if you guys haven't seen it, you got to check that out. Let's go ahead and bring on our final guest, and then we can get to Q&A after that. Mark Malkoff is a comedian and filmmaker. Like me, he loves to mess with people on the street, but unlike me, he likes to put a lot of work into his videos. Let's take a look at one of his most recent viral hits, in which he interviews kids about social media. This is a fun clip.
What is social media? Can you tell me what social media is?
I have no idea.
What is social media?
I like Star Wars.
That's great. Thanks for answering the question. Do you tweet?
No, but my mom says I toot.
Yeah, it happens sometimes, right?
What's toot?
It means fart. What do you want me to tweet?
Why don't you tweet your butt?
Tweet my butt. What's Pinterest? Thank you for that very eloquent answer. Word association in Star Wars.
Obi-Wan.
Disney World.
Mickey Mouse.
Facebook.
Pictures. Why does my mom take pictures of her breakfast and put it on Facebook?
I have no idea.
People write about all their personal business.
Personal business?
Yes.
So this is my Facebook.
You really have 3,000 friends?
Yes, I have 3,000 friends.
Liar!
Busted. What do you think when your parents put photos of you on Facebook?
That's just creepy.
Do you know what Mommy does for a living?
She's a blogger?
She is, and what is that? What's a blogger?
Is that like the green thing that you know?
The green thing's up your nose, and that's got a booger, not a blogger. Yes, booger! Boogers!
Mark Malkoff, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Mark.
Hello. Greg Benson. Greg Benson.
Mark Malkoff.
Hello.
Mark Malkoff, it's great to see you. He came
Good
in all the
seeing
way
you.
from the East Coast for this. You're the East Coast guy on the panel.
Yes, we do exist.
So, Mark, one thing that really impresses me about you is you besides this, you put a lot of work into your videos. You come up with these grand ideas.
I torture myself, yes.
You do. Give us a few examples of these grand ideas you've had.
These things get in my head. Can I pull it off? I wanted to prove to the world that New Yorkers are nice. So I started one morning at 7 a.m. at the southernmost end of Manhattan. It was the coldest day of the year. I didn't know it at the time. And I wanted to see how far north I could transport myself only by having people physically carry me along the way. And it took me 19 hours to be carried 9.4 miles by 155 individuals. And again, coldest day of the year. Did not realize when people carry you, because it would be like one person, 5 people, they contorted me so badly I was in pain for days. But I proved it right, and the video did well, and that was my message. New Yorkers are nice.
And speaking of New York, you also did a video, one of my favorites, where you tried to, you bought and consumed something at every Starbucks in Manhattan.
Yeah, I wanted to see, I was at Starbucks one day talking to a barista, and I said, out of curiosity, how many Starbucks stores are there in Manhattan? She said she didn't know. Corporate wouldn't tell me. So I got obsessed with this, and I visited every single store, 171 stores, and I did the math. Could you visit every single store in less than 24 hours, make a purchase, and consume something? Everyone said it was impossible. So why did I do this? I took a month out of my life to train on a bicycle. I tried it once with a car, and it didn't work to make this happen. It's so much research, and I had to go to a store every 7 minutes for 23 hours straight. But I did it. I almost died. And this video, you look at the video, and I don't remember a lot of it because I was so out of it. A hot July day. After 12 hours, my body started to shut down. And I don't drink alcohol, but I couldn't walk in a straight line. I couldn't ride on a bicycle without falling after 12 hours. So my friend Jill came in from Brooklyn with a car, and they kind of threw me into the remaining locations. So yeah.
And the important question, was this sponsored by Starbucks?
This was not. This was just something I wanted to do, but the result was my Today Show debut. I was on CNN, I was on Fox News, and couple months later, I had this idea for a while, which was that I wanted to live in IKEA for a week. And that gave me the leverage. I emailed IKEA. I do lots of research. There's an IKEA fan site, and I emailed the lady, and I said, you deal with IKEA. Who, if I was doing something, I wanted to do something, who would I talk to? She said, talk to this person, mention me. And I did. And I said, I want to live in IKEA. And he said, you want to do what? But he knew the Starbucks thing, because it got lots of press. And 2 months of me being very friendly, persistent but friendly, emailing them, they met with me. And after 5 minutes, they said, there's something about you that's authentic, that we trust you. And I was like, when are you going to send out the press release? We're going to do this. I was like, no, Mark, you don't get it. We're giving this whole thing to you. You have complete creative control. We trust you. And like 2 weeks later, I moved into IKEA, and it got them more, they told me this, it got more publicity for IKEA in the US than the history of the company, and they let me do my thing. And I still get work based on that IKEA thing, and it was just, my whole thing was the video. What can I do with this video taking over the store for a week? And they let me get on the PA system and close down the store. They let me do whatever I wanted. I was rollerblading with security guards at 3 in the morning. You should have come out.
What really impresses me about you, Mark, is these amazing complex ideas that you come up with. And I know that now you pretty much do work with one brand after another on these projects. Yeah, I know you recently did something where you lived on an airplane for a month and it was sponsored by AirTran, is that right?
Yes, AirTran. I had the idea to live on a plane for a month, which was real, to get over my fear of flying. I had a fear of flying, and I said, what would it take to seriously get over my fear? And I said, I have to trap myself on a plane. Came up with the idea. Originally, I wanted to do it with Richard Branson with Virgin, and I put the idea away. A lot of people that didn't know me, they knew me a little bit, were like, there's no way you're going to make this happen. Filed it away. 2 months later, I get a Facebook message from somebody that said they were in a meeting with this AirTran, and they said, we'll get the guy who lived in IKEA to live on our airplane. She said, would you be willing to do this for a week? And I said, no, it has to be a month. For me to get over my fear of flying, it has to be a month. They said that they wanted you for a month. They thought that was too much. I said, no, let's do this thing. I go to Atlanta. FBI background check, they fingerprint me, they have to do all this stuff because I'm going to live on this plane. I can go on the tarmac legally by myself, and people were coming up to me. I had a sleeping bag in the morning and a sleeping bag in my luggage, and the crew people on the tarmac were like, let me see your badge, and I'd show them, and then I would say, let me see your badge, and they would have to show me their badge, and I would be like,
because legally they have to show you their badge when you ask for it.
Yes. That is true. So they were doing it to me, and I just was like, I'll get back at them.
Okay, so and we have about 10 minutes left, so we're about to go to Q&A. But I want to ask you, how do you go about approaching brands when you have a concept?
I don't. I mean, honestly, every time I go to a brand, it never works. I mean, I put myself out there. I'm lucky to get media attention. I will try to send my video. If I have a video that's doing well, I'll try to send it to certain brands. But I've been really fortunate that they'll come to me, and I just come up with ideas. It's a strength of mine. And I'll say, these are some ideas. Sometimes they will come to me with their creative. But like Skype, they wanted something for their 10th anniversary. So we did a thing where I attempted to Skype with somebody in as many countries as possible. And I hit 100, I think it was 162, including North Korea, which took me a long time to set up. And that was just something I really wanted to do. And if it's a fit and it's an organic fit and I think I can do something good with it and I'm enthusiastic with it and it's a challenge, yeah, we'll do it with a brand.
That's great.
Yeah.
So I've sort of noticed an overall theme, I think, for all of us, that if you are passionate about something, then just go ahead and do it. And hopefully you will find an audience for it, and then monetization opportunities will come. But the idea is, don't delay. Just go ahead and do it. There's a microphone right in the center aisle. If any of you have questions, just hop on up to that microphone. I think there might be one over there also, but it's probably easier if, especially if there's a number of you who may want to line up. If you guys have any questions, please hop up to that microphone and let's get the party started.
Q&A.
All right.
Hello there.
Hello, I'm JP Stone Street.
Hi, JB.
You guys do amazing, entertaining things. I do boring things. How do we make that amazing and entertaining?
What do you do?
Yeah, what's so boring about what you do?
Are you an accountant?
I help people start businesses. How could I make that entertaining from a video perspective?
It's entertaining to people who want to start businesses.
Most of my stuff's educational. It doesn't get tons of views, but...
Well, okay. So, and I think that this is actually a pretty good answer for anyone who doesn't have the audience already built in. Try to approach and work with someone who does have a built-in audience, if possible, especially someone who might be able to, make entertaining, funny videos. If you have a concept in mind, that may help.
You got to make yourself stand out. It has to be something out there. There's so much noise out there. Something that's authentic, that just stands out. Something that just grabs people's attention. It has to be real.
Yeah.
But stand out.
If you had the budget, you would hire Mark Malkoff to come up with the craziest new business idea that you possibly could, and then you would see if you could start up that business.
Well, there's also there should be a story to what you do. I mean, everything is really personal belief as a storyteller. Everything at the core is a story. Even education is a story. History is a story. So it's really about what we remember are the great stories. And so if you can tell the story of why you're doing or what you're doing, and having that unique spin that makes you stand out, that's what.
But the interesting thing about viral videos is that anybody can make a video, and if it has the right hook, if it has something strong that hooks people, and you send it out to as many venues as possible, then hopefully it will catch on. Let's move on to the next question.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Great.
Hey there.
Does Mark Malkoff have any idea what the aardvark is about?
No, I'm not sure. Oh, there is an aardvark.
There is an
I did not
aardvark.
see that. Was that really your question?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Hi, I'm Charles with Success Freaks. And I apologize, it's been a long weekend. I don't remember the names. The young lady in the middle, what's your name again?
Kim.
Kim. I don't count myself as consuming much web video media ever. I'm just not the guy that goes and surfs through YouTube. However, I believe I've seen at least one episode of everything you've ever produced. So I apologize for my outburst earlier. I'm like, holy crap, The Retarded Police Officer was my favorite show a couple of years ago, including where everybody was so negative in the comments, and Chris sat down with, I think, his sister, he sat down with some female and said, look, I have Down syndrome. I am an actor. Back off. And it was a great moment for me in social media. It says, I want to play in this arena, which I already was, but I was like, because like you said, he's an actor and he can't not have Down syndrome, and what you were doing there was very awesome. All your shows have been great. And I can't believe I've actually seen like everything you've done. So
I can't
good luck
either.
and thank you.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Daniel J. Lewis from cleancomedypodcast.com. With all of the content that you've produced, all of these ideas, how do you vet what you think will be successful and not? How do you choose what crazy idea or what you choose to do, and how do you decide what to pursue of all the ideas that you have?
That's a 2-hour answer. I feel.
I can tell you quickly that and after this we'll have one more question, but I can tell you that I throw out videos weekly on my main channel, and so if one doesn't work, I know that hopefully the next week it will catch on a little bit more. So I just keep throwing them to the wall and seeing what sticks. How about you,
I
Mark?
just do what I think is funny, that I'm enthusiastic with, and I'm a huge fan of getting advice. If there's especially a big thing, I will go to some of my comedy writer friends that work on the comedy late night shows. And be like, this is my concept, what do you think? And they've saved me many times, and they've given me little tweaks in different directions, but I just do what I think is funny, and that's it. And yeah, hopefully it'll hit.
Yeah, same here. I've just pursued, ideas or scripts that I believed in and that I really enjoyed. Some of them work and some of them don't. I did some for the Geek and Sundry channel that Written by a Kid was one of the best projects I've ever done, because I got to collaborate with 10 different awesome directors, and they told these children's stories. And the first one did great because it starred Joss Whedon, and then after that they just kind of went downhill. So, it's not the most successful thing I've ever done, but it was incredibly fulfilling. So,
I mean, the key element there is that I think we all really enjoy what we do, and especially with the type of work we're doing, if we were just looking at, this is what's gonna make the most money, we would get no joy out of that.
And we wouldn't be in web video, honestly.
Yeah, we wouldn't be.
I feel like when anybody ever is like, this is what we think the audience is gonna like, network TV tries it all the time. When Friends left, they're like, let's get the new Friends. It never works. I mean, and you can just look at anything, and they're always, and people in entertainment are like, let's get the new. It doesn't.
It's why at the beginning I said, turning your passion into a profession, it has to start with passion. We have time for one last question.
Thank you.
Hello there.
Perfect. So my name is Christian Torres. I'm here in Las Vegas. So my question is, What's some of the biggest lessons over the years that you learned to become a better writer, whether it's coming up with ideas or the next big idea for a different project, but what things have you developed over your careers to become better writers and coming up with awesome ideas?
One of the great things about YouTube is you get immediate feedback in the comments section. I do read the comments. I read the comments on all my videos, at least for the first few days or even the first week, to see what's resonating with people and what isn't. And often people have fantastic suggestions. I remember there were a lot of suggestions, even with the Guild, that you guys would get comments, and would you address certain things like in...
Not for the Guild.
Not for the Guild, but for other things you have. Like people would request certain things, like Two Hot Girls in the Shower. They'd want an episode about the Super Bowl or something like that. And then, Mark, Bernie?
Go ahead.
I think there's no substitution for getting as much practice and as much just work on the writing, or if it's filming, as much experience as possible. I always go back to that Malcolm Gladwell stuff about getting as many hours as practice as possible. I had a day job for years in TV. Just doing stuff on the side. I mean, I've been doing comedy since I was a teenager, and it took me forever to be able to quit my day job. And I was working full-time, doing a day job, and then as much energy in on the other stuff, and I just really felt like I needed to do that to get as strong as I wanted to. And eventually I was able to leave the day job, but it's only, I feel like, as I persevered and got that much practice into being able to do the videos to a level where, I don't know, people were into them.
All right, well, I'll shut this one down.
Yeah, bring it home.
All right, so a couple of things. As a writer, first off, as Mark alluded to, there's really two things you should be doing. One is creating content or consuming content. You're either watching what other people do and analyzing it, or you're creating it yourself for practice, like you just said, number one. Number two, if it's writing specifically, the beauty of writing is that there's literally nothing stopping you except for you.
Yeah.
You know, like you could sit down after this and start writing right now until they kick you out of this room, and you can write it outside. So you can be writing anytime, all the time. And the third thing I'll say, something one of my mentors told me, is he said, look at it like this. You want to be a writer? Well, there are, we'll say 100,000 other writers, wannabe writers out there who are aspiring to get to where you want to go. Well, when you're not writing, a lot of them are. So they're getting ahead of you. What do you feel about that? And I'm like, well, I guess I should be writing. And thus, you go to work.
I hope that this was fun and informative for you guys. Thanks so much for coming.
Greg Benson.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Kim Evey, Mark Malkoff, Greg Benson, fantastic job, you guys. Thank you so much. All right.
I'm taking this. It's free water. I got free water.
Free water.
Thanks. It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
And again, thank you, diehards. I love you guys for staying to the bitter end. I hope it was worth it. Was it not? Did Greg not do an awesome job? Huh? Thank you all for coming again. We really appreciate it. This is it. We all have to go home. I know we want to stay here forever, but I need some sleep. So
I don't need any sleep. I'm good. Let's go.
we will see you all again next year. Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.